Welcome to Paw Prints and Passports podcast with myself, Glenyce.
And Rodney.
We are exploring the world through pet sitting.
Woohoo!
Today's show is all about how to get started.
Yeah, now, I'm not the one to ask that or give you any advice, but Glenyce got it all started online. She's the old computer whiz.
Technical, they say, technical.
Well, I don't know about that. You had trouble putting that light bulb in. But anyway, carry on. Sorry, I digress.
So, the first thing to get started is you want to set up a profile on whatever platform that you're going to use. We use Trusted House Sitters. There's a link below or above or somewhere where you will get a 25% off discount, I think, if you join through our link. There are multiple other sites. But honestly, we've only ever used Trusted House Sitters, so I can't speak to any of those.
And very happy with it so far.
Yeah, we've been very happy with it. So no matter what platform you use, you want to make sure that what you're doing with your profile is being as clear as possible, filling out everything, adding in all the photos of you with animals. I know on Trusted House Sitters, I think you're limited to maybe 12 or something like that. Even if they're pets of your own, that's when we first started. I used us with our pets, and I used me with family members' pets, anything just to get it all filled out, and it looked really nice. Because if your profile doesn't look, well, if it doesn't look like you love animals,
you're not going to get many sits.
No, so you want to make sure that it's filled out, and also even your experience. When we first started, I was very clear that we didn't have experience pet and house sitting, but that we had over 30 years. Well, actually our lifetime.
I've had cats all out. Well, my family has.
Yeah, cats and dogs, and
yeah.
I even had a horse growing up. So I talked about that, but I was very clear that they weren't in pet or house sitting roles. They were in, us just loving them. There will also probably be a spot where you can add in references. Make sure that you fill that in also, because if you're applying for your very first sit and somebody's looking at your profile, but you have nobody there saying anything nice about you, that's probably going to limit your possibilities. And our experience is that reviews is what's going to get you those sits. Well, positive reviews is what's going to get you those sits. So when you're first starting out, you're going to have to reach out to family and friends, and they don't even have to be people that you've sat for. On Trusted House Sitters, they have it specifically where you can use a family member or friend just basically as a character reference. And that's what we did. Again, just as we started out, we had one reference on there who was talking about what amazing people we were.
So, how do you get good reviews then?
Well, this was the thing that we actually found out the hard way, I would say, because we spent a month in England in October of 2022, and we had just decided that we were going to try out this house and pet sitting thing. And if you remember, we applied for one, and we actually got it right away. And it was a house sit in Wales. It was beautiful. They had a dog, chickens, ducks, and the location was beautiful. They had their own land, so we didn't have to put a leash on the dog, and he basically knew his own walk, didn't he?
No, he went on his own.
Yeah, so it was really, really amazing, and we kind of felt like we were old pros at this until we applied for about 3 more sits in England and didn't get any of them. And the reason we didn't is because at that point we only had 1 5-star review. We had 1 reference, of course, but we had only 1 5-star review. So we figured out pretty quickly that if we wanted to be successful at this thing, we needed to get as many reviews as possible. So what we decided to do is when we came back to Canada, that we would apply for short sits that were in our area.
Yeah, close to home.
And we did. I'm not sure how many, probably 5 or 6, maybe even more.
Yeah.
And we applied for the ones, and you can often see, at least on Trusted House Sitters, where it says low applications, which means there's not many people that have applied for it. So your chance of getting it is much higher, even if you don't have any reviews at all. It is much higher than if the ones that have a lot of people that have applied for them. And so we actually were very smart in choosing that, because then when we did start full-time, which was a little over, well, not quite a year later, I guess July of 2023 is when we went full-time. And what we did then is we had a bunch of 5-star reviews. So we are pretty well set up in terms of pretty much get every sit that we apply for. Not necessarily all of them, but we get pretty much all of them. And it's because of our reviews. It's because now at this point we have, I'm not sure, maybe 24 5-star reviews on there. So, and you probably know yourself, like us, if we go to buy something or hire somebody, we look for the reviews. We look for what people are saying about that thing or that person. And so it's no different when you're house and pet sitting, is that you want to make sure that you're getting those good reviews. So that's how we get the reviews. Now, I think Hubby can speak to how do we ensure that they're 5-star reviews?
We threaten them. No. You go through the manual and it says, please leave the house clean and tidy and throw the bedding on the floor. We usually laundry the bed in, make the beds back up, give the floor a wash, and try to leave the place just a little bit cleaner or a little bit tidier than when we get there, and try and put everything back in the same place.
That's not always what happens, but we do our best in terms of putting things back, because you don't often think about when you take a bowl out or the cheese grater out where it came from. So the next day when it's clean and time to go back, it doesn't always go back where it should.
I'd like to just rearrange all the cupboards just the way I like it. I don't think we'll get good reviews.
We would not. In fact, a little story, when we applied for a sit in last December, the woman said to us specifically, do not rearrange the cupboards, because she had a sitter come. She had a very small kitchen. She had a sitter come who actually rearranged every cupboard, and it took her 4 hours when she got home to put it back. So we make sure not to do that as much as he would like to, because he's very organized. Although this place here, I mean, this is organized. Like this is probably the most organized, and we've been in some very organized places, but this place is the most organized.
There is labels everywhere.
It's amazing. And we as the house sitters are very grateful, because it helps us know exactly where things go back, for sure.
Oh yeah.
We also have some really cool animals here that we don't often get to sit for.
Yeah, we got a donkey, and there's some sheep and lambs. Chickens are not too exciting, but we got chickens.
There's a lot of eggs.
A lot of eggs. About 15 eggs a day. So I'm making a big omelet for supper.
So for any of you that are watching the video, you will have, of course, just seen as we talked about that. Hubby took a bunch of videos to add in. So if you're not watching this and you'd like to see, you can go to the YouTube link, which again will be above or below somewhere in the show notes. Somewhere it is. And the other thing that we really enjoy about this sit is that it is really close to Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, which is in Canada, but it's very quiet. It is on like an acreage, so I'm not sure how many acres they have here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
5 or 7 maybe. They back onto the river. It's gorgeous, and it's about 5-minute drive to town. So it's really the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's on a nice quiet road, which there's no reason to drive down unless you live here. So it's great. Well, we're sitting in the backyard, maybe, I don't know, 30 feet from the road. And we can't hear any cars. It's great.
So the other thing, as you're going through this, you're getting started, you're doing all of these sits, oh yes, did you see our shirts? Yes. And we'll put up a better picture for those that can't see it that far away, because we're sitting a ways away. And of course, if you are listening to this via podcast, the link to our merch is in the show notes also.
Merch? Look at you.
It's called merch, hubby. And I made this, yes. So anyway, so you've got the sits, you're trying it out. What I would also encourage you to do is be aware of what actually works for you as you're doing the sits. We talked about this a little bit in episode 1 when we talked about kind of our what we've learned over the past year. But it's really starting to see if it works for you to maybe look after a farm like this. It might not for you. And you might have to try it to know it doesn't, but then start paying attention to that, because otherwise, if you're just doing sits to get sits done or to do them and always have a sit to do, and it probably wouldn't be very fun long term if you're forcing yourself. So if you know that you, like us, we talked again on the first episode, we aren't interested in reptiles. So we know that about ourselves. And as you're trying things, you're going to get clearer for what you would like. So as you're getting started, please pay attention to those things. Pay attention to, if there's animals who need to be walked at 6 a.m. and that's not a good time for you, like that would not be a good time. If hubby was doing the sit on his own, it would not be good. And even me walking a dog at 6 a.m., that's pretty early. I like to be up, but maybe not walking the dog. But you get to know yourself, you get to know what you like with all of that, so that you don't have to be, just kind of taking it or just doing things just to help out somebody. And of course, the most important part is to find ways to enjoy where you're sitting, the area that you're in. Because if you're like us, you're in new areas depending every couple of weeks, every month, every few months. So how, hubby, can you share with them how we find things to do in areas we're not familiar with?
Yeah, there's several ways that I like to look. I like to look on Atlas Obscura, which is a site with basically unusual places to see. And I'm trying to think of one. Oh, there was a prison we went to which only had one prison cell, big enough for one person. We also stopped at the center of North America, which is in North Dakota, which I didn't know that. I also do a lot of geocaching, so that's another way of getting out, seeing the area.
And of course, the link to Atlas Obscura will be in the show notes and below, wherever you find it. The important piece with that is that you can actually get it as an app too. It's a free app that you can download, just have on your phone. So as we're driving, we can see all of the, what are they called? Not necessarily
They're
historical.
not necessarily history. They're everything from geology, weird things, history, there's architecture, there's anything, all sorts of things.
So you can actually see it. You can look at the area you're currently in and then go and check them out. A lot of them we don't stop at because they're maybe not of interest to either of us. But there are a lot on there that are pretty cool and worth a stop.
Yeah, we stopped at Cadillac Ranch. That was one in Texas.
That's right. Yeah, there's many. I think I have a whole album on my Facebook page about all the weird places that we've stopped. And it's just a great way to find something new in that area. If you're driving for a long period of time, great way to stretch your legs. And then, of course, as hubby says, he's got a lot of geocaches that take us new places. He might go find them on his own. And then if it's a really cool place, we'll go back after. And I would say for myself, I will often just Google, like here in Prince Albert, we just kind of Googled what's on. That's another way to find things that are going on. In the Trusted House Sitters group, they have a forum. You can do meetups with other people, other house sitters in the area too. That can be a fun way. We haven't done that yet.
No.
There haven't been any in our area. We haven't put any on ourselves either, but that is an option. So lots of different ways to not just enjoy the pets that you're sitting and the house that you're sitting, but also the area that you're in and to really explore it. It's one of the reasons I would say that we house and pet sit, so that we can feel like we're living in that area, like we're truly experiencing it.
Yeah, because otherwise if you're not going to get out and do that, you might as well stay at home and look after your own pet, because you'll just be sitting indoors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to in the Isle of Man, is getting out, being part of the community.
Yes. So Isle of Man in November of 2024. We're very excited, with many sits before then too. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If you've got any topics you would like us to cover, please let us know. And
that's it from me.
That's it.
So it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.